Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and welcome back to another Adorama Picks Rapid Fire Critique, where I take your best 10 images and give them a critiquey McCritiquerson. If you would like to submit your best 10 images for a critique, the link is down below on YouTube, also on Facebook. You can find it over on the website. It is on the post where I do critiques. That's where the link is to submit them. So let's get into this right now. We have photos from MTS198. Sounds like KRS-One, right? Using a Nikon D3300 with an 18 to 35. What is that? The Sigma? That's got to be a Sigma lens, that 18 to 35 f1.8. Yeah, wow, that threw me off. So we've got a basic body with a nice piece of glass. And what I'll say is I like the punchiness of the image. I like what's going on, but I will tell you, just looking at it here, the punched up sky is not real. We know that's not real. It's like a gradient, and it's done in post, and it's throwing me off. Something's throwing me off in this area. It looks darker over here than it is right here, but you know that the light should be exactly the same. And this big-ass piece of wood, is this the focal point? Or is this the focal point right in the middle? Because my eye is going up here in this area because it's bright. You can see the dodged and burned area around here. That is not good. If my focus was to just be this wood thingy-mabobber, I'm going to get on a much lower angle to get the wood thingy-mabobber in there. That's my personal understanding of how I would do this. The rest of it just seems to be over-processed, but I like what's going on for the most part. I don't like what's going on around the thing. It just seems like way too over-processed. This one, not as bad as the last one. I like this frame much better. It's obviously uploaded a hell of a lot smaller because they must have done something because there's no EXIF data there. I like what's going on here, but don't get so crazy with the skies. I've fallen into this trap myself where you're like, yeah, I'm going to make the sky look awesome, blah, 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 but it's not realistic. The sky didn't look like this. The sky looked more like that down there. Those are like storm clouds, but you know it's not a stormy day. Well, maybe it is stormy because there's some rain. There's some wetness there, but I just think it's a little over. Oh, and get rid of that. That watermark right there is really pissing me off. Moving on. I can live with this much more. D3300, 18 to 35, f16 to get everything in focus, 1/60th of a second at ISO 100. So I'm feeling this much more. I like the angle. I like that it's kind of the top of the stalks a little bit, and again, a little too far and a little heavy-handed with the clouds. Look, it's brighter here and it's darker over here. It just doesn't match. If you're gonna go balls out to the wall with your processing of the sky, then go balls out all the way across the frame. Don't do half balls where you're only doing half the frame and leaving the other half. If you're gonna do the left one, you gotta do the right one as well. Other than that, I do like what's going on with this image. I would consider warming it up a little bit with some yellow in the white balance because it just reminds me of that. I just feel like it needs to be a little warmer. Cool. Sodas, chips, snacks, candy, beer, coffee, cigarettes, beer. That's what they say at the hotel, at the casinos. D3300. So I like the black and white that's going on here. Is it integral to this frame to have this much headspace? Now, cutting off the hand, is it that big of a deal, or is it not that big of a deal? So I went to the museum yesterday, and there were a lot of photos by Henri Cartier-Bresson, and he had a lot of headroom in a lot of his images that left me scratching my head personally because it didn't fit the style that I personally do, but that doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. So I was digging into it, trying to figure out why was the headroom there? Was it to keep the light posts in? Was it to keep some important information in there? And again, there's no right or wrong way how to do this stuff. It's what feels right. And I'm getting that feel out of this image very similar to what I was seeing at the museums yesterday. I'm not saying museum quality. I'm just saying I'm feeling the same thing after seeing other work yesterday, especially by the photographer I just told you about. So this is very interesting. I guess because he's holding a soda, maybe it becomes interesting that that's there. I love the processing on this. I like the tones, and I like the image. I do feel, though, that the chopping the hand off does hurt it slightly. But all in all, that's a fantastic image. Again, showing people that the D3300 is a very good camera. You put on a good piece of glass like that Sigma 18 to 35, multiplied by 1.5 also, and it's going to be a very nice shot image. this works, so I can deal with the processing here. F2, 18 millimeters, 800 ISO, 15 seconds is about right. Keep in mind, if you're shooting space or star photos, anything over 20 seconds, you may start to get the spin and rotation of the Earth, which means you're going to get what are they called? Motion blur. Now, this doesn't look to be an aeroplane. It looks to be a shooting star. You have to be careful. Airplanes show up in your images as hash dots, like dashes, as the lights blink over a long exposure. So that looks really good. Yeah, that looks like a comet. I mean, that looks like a shooting star. I like this image. I really like what's going on. It's nice down here. It's really nicer up in this area, but it's a very nice job being done. Same camera, D3300. Next one, D3300, same lens. So this is nice. It's a smudge mark on my screen. Hold on, let me get rid of that. All right, I'm getting rid of it. Cleaning it off. This is nice. Now, this one feels a little too yellow for me, but with that being said, now that I said that, it is mostly lit by candlelight, so it's not yellow. I think there's a little too much green in here. You need to pump in a little bit of the magenta. I like the light rays, wherever the hell that's coming from. That looks really sweet, really cool. What was the exposure? Oh, a half a second. Very cool. I like the way that the light's coming in. Really nice job. Really, really nice job. Okay, this is nice. So it's not just shooting the waterfall. What I like, again, 1/200th of a second, same lens. They love that lens. 18 millimeters with that 18 to 35 Sigma 1.8. I love the way that the light's coming up here. I love where the walking path bridge is across. My eyes don't even get that distracted by this crap on the left-hand side. I like the mist, I like the colors, but it does get distracted by this stuff now that I found this part of the image. I don't know, shooting tighter, maybe zooming in a little bit could do it. I don't know how the horizontal would look because there's probably a lot of schmutz over here on the left side, but I like the tones, I like the contrast, I like the editing, I like the processing, I like what's going on in this shot. So very nice job again. Okay. I can't stand the crooked angle. I cannot stand with the, okay, so this must have been an earlier photo, September 2012. Just because I ask for your best 10 images, this is older, doesn't mean that it's not still worthy, but it's definitely not worthy in comparison to your other images. Fine kit lens, fine, from 2000, this is not a good image. More so, the processing's good, but more so because of the angle. It just throws me off and makes me want to throw up. So next one. So earlier to 2013, same thing going on as you are doing nowadays. You're overdoing the sky. Pull back a little bit on the sky. I know you want to bring it in there to make it more impactful, and I know people love that. It looks like you've done away with your watermark in the other images as well, which is nice. But you're overdoing the sky. I like the tones. I like what's going on here. It's just getting too crispy and crunchy in the sky. Next. So this is one time where you went really crunchy in the sky, and it kind of looks ominous, like a storm is coming. Maybe it is coming. Maybe it's a dust bowl. Something's happening there. I can live with it. Interesting that it's further back, not tightly cropped. I don't know if a tighter crop in an area like this would be better because you're showing the power lines, you're showing all this other stuff. So I think it works. I think it's a nice image. Your processing is great. I think you're doing a fantastic job. Those are those 10 images. Let me just say, again, anybody that bitches about your gear and says that you can't do it with the basic kit or a D3300, you can do it. This photographer kicked ass with an 18 to 35. They just need to pull back on some of the processing in the sky. Most of the processing in colors and tones I love in these shots. The composition, the framing, it's all pretty darn close. So this is a really nice set of 10 images. I'd like to critique your 10 images. Please submit them over on the website. There is a link where when you go to any of my recent critiques, at least in the last 4 months from the time this video went up, there is going to be a link. I believe it's bit.ly/frocritiques or something like that. I'll double check and get that up on the screen. But I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to subscribe to get more critiques. You'll see that coming up in just a second. You can click and do that. Thank you, Jared. PolinPhotosphoto.com. See ya.
Subscribe now! Watch this video.